Hey guys, it's Carly again, and today I'm gonna do an apartment tour. I did a poll on Twitter to see what kind of videos you guys were interested in, and the apartment tour won by a landslide. You wanna come up too? Okay, come on. After college, I moved pretty much straight to New York City. I lived at home in Tampa for about a month, and I loved my New York City apartment. It was pretty much a dream apartment for a 22-year-old living in New York on her own. It was a true one-bedroom, had its pros and cons, but definitely over the years, the cons grew and grew. And Garrett actually lived with me for the last year that I was there. So I lived there for 3 years total, and we lived together for the final year. He moved into my apartment, which I don't really recommend if you are dating someone. I think if you're gonna move in together, you should start with like a clean slate and move into an entirely new apartment. Maybe I should do another video about how to live with a significant other. Anyway, we realized that the New York City apartment wasn't really cutting it for us anymore, and we both were kind of burned out on New York in general, trying to figure out where we wanted to go. And we looked at a bunch of different places, including Long Island, but for some reason Connecticut really stood out to us, and we came out here a couple of times during the spring to look at different apartment buildings. Garrett fell in love immediately. I wasn't totally sold on the idea, but kind of went for it because I knew I was done with New York and I was ready just to try something new. So we moved almost exactly a year ago, August 14th, 2015. I think I was so stressed about the actual move that I wasn't thinking about the fact that I was leaving New York. And we got to Connecticut and I fell in love with Connecticut. I really did. I just love the pace of life is different, but we're also just a 50-minute train ride away from New York, so we can easily get on Metro North and be in the city for a meeting literally within like an hour and 15 minutes, including taxi rides and the walk to the train station. So once we moved to Connecticut, within a week, I was just obsessed, and I bought a car and everything was so great, and the apartment I think was like a huge upgrade. As great as my New York City apartment was, it was great for New York City, which is saying something. My apartment didn't have a kitchen. I had okay closet space. I only had windows in the bedroom, no windows in the living room, so it just felt dark a lot, and no air conditioning, so it was super hot in the summer, even with like a window unit, and super cold during the winter. Now, I mean, it's like more of like a luxury apartment. We obviously don't want to live in an apartment forever, but for now it's definitely perfectly ideal for just Garrett and me, and then the 2 dogs, and they obviously love it too. I think my favorite part about the apartment is the kitchen, because I didn't have a kitchen for so long. I never had one in college. I lived in a house one year, but the kitchen never really felt like mine, and I feel like I've really taught myself how to cook, which I don't know, I guess my mom always cooked growing up, so I never really learned. So I've had so much fun having like a full kitchen and like a full-size oven and a full-size refrigerator and tons of cabinet space, so I can have as many pots and pans as I want. So that's been definitely one of my favorite parts. And then I also love, you'll see that we have like a den set up. When we were looking at apartments, the building that we picked because of the location to the train station more than anything else. There were 1 bedrooms, which felt a little bit too small for 2 people, and it felt too much like the New York apartment, but the 2 bedrooms felt way too big. I'm sure there's like a couple of nights for sure where it'd be nice to have a guest room for a guest, but just in everyday life, it just felt like a lot of space for 2 people without children. We ended up finding this like great compromise where there's a 1 bedroom plus a den is what it's called, and we turned it into the office. So it's just a great place to sort of sit down and get a lot of work done, and you're not distracted by the TV in the living room, but you're not like tempted by the bed in the bedroom. So it's just a really great setup. And I really feel like we get that space that we were looking for without feeling like overwhelmed by it, and not feeling like we were cramped in a tiny apartment. So my New York apartment was super pink, and I'm not a decorator by any means, but I did have a lot of fun decorating that over the years. The first year I lived there, I had 0 money, so I had literally no money to decorate with. It was just all IKEA furniture. And then every year I would kind of slowly add things. And I really liked that process, but it was definitely kind of annoying for the first 2 years when I felt like I was just living in like a white box. When Garrett and I moved to Connecticut together for his sake, and also I was kind of over the pink, it just felt a little bit too Pinteresty. I kind of just wanted a clean slate. So we sold a lot of the furniture, donated some, gave away some to friends, and kept some of like the key pieces that I loved, like some of the framed work and stuff. But for the most part, we just started from a clean slate. Because we live in an apartment, there's not like a ton of stuff that I want to do like permanent changes wise. My New York apartment, I put up wallpaper, which I loved, but it was such a pain in the neck to take down because I wanted to make sure we got my security deposit back. I don't know if I would do that again in an apartment for sure. There's still a few things that we need to do, like we have curtains on back order, and we've been slowly adding pieces as we go, which I think to me is how I function a lot better. I don't want to just rush into a space and try to decorate it right away. I'm kind of picking up pieces here and there, and if I see something that really speaks to me, I'll just get it versus getting something to fill the space right away. Although we've been living here for a year, so maybe it is time to kind of get on board. I really like how it turned out. We kind of stuck with like a coastal theme. I didn't really want like a cheesy beachy feeling, and I didn't want to feel like we were living in a beach house. I also wanted to feel a little bit more grown up, but I didn't want it to feel like we were in our mid-30s in like a stuffy apartment. I love that our apartment feels like you can walk in with your shoes and not feel bad. You can put a drink down on the table without a coaster. It's just like a really casual space, but feels really like us. Okay guys, I really hope you liked the apartment tour. I'm going to try to link in the description box below where I got a lot of this stuff, but if I forget something or I skip over it or you're just curious about something else, feel free to leave a comment and I'll do my best to go through and respond. A lot of stuff is old, but hopefully I can find something that's at least similar. And if you like this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. Make sure you click the subscribe button. I'm going to be trying to do videos every week, and I'm going to be mixing it up with different types of content, so let me know what you're looking for. Bye! Thanks for watching!